Hey everybody, this is Erman Baradi. Thank you so much for tuning in. It is July. I don't say it. Wow, July. No, it's August.
August.
August 5th. Time has, I don't know if the time's gone, right? It is August 5th. For those who've been tuning in the last few weeks, you know that I do a lot of entertainment events. We've gone on Zoom from our live events to our Zoom events. We've done a lot in the last few months. But in the last week or so, I've been doing a lot of interviews with people that are not in the entertainment industry. It's just more about people and their opinions, you know. So we are in a very divisive time. So it's always cool to be engaged in conversation with people who may or may not believe the same thing you do. But I believe that everyone has a voice. Everyone has an experience that lends to their current opinions on politics, on culture, you know, all that. So today we have Will Hagans, a good friend of mine on Instagram. First time meeting face to face. Man, Will, the reason I love talking and is because I feel like anytime, like every day, I feel like we're exchanging content. We're like, hey, did you read this? Hey, did you see that? So, and we engage in even if they're short, they're really intellectual conversations, you know? So I think we're on the same wavelength when it comes to people having the right to their own opinion, you know? So, welcome, Will.
Thank you.
Told me you're originally from DC, now you live in SD. So please
Yeah.
tell me about your background and how you formulated your current opinion. Because I think right now, the last time I checked with you, you were formerly a Democrat, but now you're independent. You don't belong to anything, to any party.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
tell me how you you know, how, I guess, your environment when you were growing up, what led you to your opinions and what led you to your opinions today.
Okay. So pretty much, I was born and raised in Washington D.C. Um, Sorry, that's my son.
No worries.
um, so then I was in the military for 16 years, and then stop, please.
Maybe he
Sorry
wants to get
about
on camera too.
that. Yeah. So then I've been doing that forever. 16 years in the military. So I got out recently. So I've been around the world even before the military, doing military work and student exchange and things that's such. So I've been pretty much doing a lot of things. So yeah, so pretty much as far as politics goes, yes, I was a Democrat, and then I was like, okay, let's go Republican, but then everything just went downhill. So from just being from DC, we heavy in politics and heavy into what's going on with United States and especially in the city itself, because pretty much that's a political town. So
The
so
home
being
of
from
it,
there,
really.
yeah. So being from there, it literally just like opened my eyes to especially politics and cultural relation things, and from backgrounds in history is like one of my biggest subjects.
Okay.
So especially being in college and doing college in high schools and things like that. So once that happened, that's when everything started to open up. So once you start reading about politics and how the Democrat was formed, how the Republicans was formed, and how it's pretty much the early 90s and the late 80s, that's when everything started happening with the Democrats. When you're young, you don't see these things. So
Hey, it's fair assessment. Yeah.
so once you start looking into like, okay, why are people Democrats and why are people Republicans? Okay, your mom and dad, of course. Oh, you're vote Democrat when you're 18. You're gonna vote Democrat. That's what you're gonna do. They're for the people, whatever. But then, if you look at all the laws and three strikes and everything that was for people of color, it was from the Democrats. The Republicans voted against it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's when everything happened. So when I started looking and digging more, that's when you found out the truth. Like we always say, find out the information for yourself.
Yeah.
Don't just say, okay, this is what the news says. No,
Exactly.
it's not gonna happen. It's not. That's not what it is. But if you want to know the truth, go into history. You will see from the early on that you will definitely see from even from the early 50s and 60s, even the early before that, the Jim Crow laws, the convict system, all that stuff was it's crazy how it all started from the Democrats.
Yeah.
And racism. So when you start to get to that, and as you look into what's going on right now, you have Joe Biden, you have President Trump, and then you have Kanye.
I guess if you want to
Yeah.
factor in him, if you want to factor him in, yeah.
Yeah, but some people, might want to vote for him,
Yeah.
but that's just what it is. That's what it is. But you also got to look at Biden's past. They saying Trump is a racist. They saying Biden's not a racist, but then he made racist rhetoric from back in the past.
Yeah. I think we lost you on camera.
Yeah, somebody's trying to call me.
Oh, no worries.
There
he is.
Okay, so then you look at his racist rhetoric from back in the day, and then also the bills that he passed from back in the day. So you're trying to tell me that it's equal?
Oh, you're talking about the crime bill?
Yeah, the crime bills, the 3 strikes bill. He's the one that actually, like, a lot of bills he actually helped write. So you trying to tell me that you're about black people now? Well, people of color, but then what about the bills that you passed? Why you didn't rectify those bills? Just because you with Obama, it don't make sense. It's not adding up.
Do you think the media's like, shh, don't talk about that? They're not supposed to talk about that.
Yeah, it's a lot of hush hush. Money, follow the money. That's simple. You follow the money, you get the answers. Just like the whole situation going on with Epstein thing. You follow the money,
yeah.
You get. So that's what it is. So in me right now, I'm trying to figure out who I'm going to vote for in November. Is up in the air.
Yeah.
Period.
Okay.
Because
let me ask you this. Oh, sorry. Let me ask you this. So, originally on the left, you're like, okay, let me try this. Let me try this on the right really quick. Let me just see what they're about. And then you transition to the middle. So what did you like about the left? And then you left the left. What did you like about the right? But then you're like, and that's not for me either. Let me not be associated with anybody. So what did you like from both, and what did you dislike from both?
So when you started looking for yourself, like for me, for instance, when I started looking for myself, okay, I was like, okay, Democrats is for the people, it's for people of color, it's for minorities, it's for the whole nine. But then you look at the laws that they pass, you're like, hold on, that don't make sense. You're for the people, but then you have the 3 strike law. You have, I'm trying to think of it. Like in California, they have, like, if you associate with a gang member or known of a gang member, you are labeled as a gang member, even though you don't know a gang member. So they can label you as, it's laws that they pass that is not for people of color. It's just to bring down. Just like, I'm not saying welfare is a bad thing, but it's made to keep you down. And they push it to the max, even though it's more Caucasians, like, statistically speaking, is on welfare than African Americans or people of color, but they will say that people of color is more than it is. You get what I'm saying?
I didn't know that. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So then you have the Republicans that's also, they're like white wishy-washy, but they have racial tendencies. So
it's true. I mean, yeah. I mean,
so it is like, it is what it is. Is you don't like people of color, you don't like, even though you want to bail out people, they bail out the big companies, but what about the people? And that's what it all falls down to. There's both parties saying they're about the people, but they're not about the people. If you're going to be about the people, be about the people. Don't just say, yeah, we're about the people only during election time.
Yeah.
And then both parties only do that when it's election time. So it's like, okay, when you look at it, you look at what they're talking about, look at what everything they're doing, look at how they actually come around and try to put, oh yeah, Hispanics, the LGBTQ, you know what I mean? We're gonna do all this stuff for y'all, people of color. We're gonna do this for you guys, but then we look at the rest of the year. What is there?
I feel you. Okay, fair assessment.
What do you have?
Fair
You
assessment.
have nothing.
Yeah, it's fair assessment. So, so I gotta ask you, do you feel like politics is not even about the policies anymore? It's more about how do I make the other person look as weak as I say they are? Like, is it even about policies anymore? Or is it like a personality kind of thing? Like, okay, I like this person because of his personality, or I dislike this person because of the personality.
Are you talking about in general? Like
In
as far
general,
as like
yeah, yeah. Like,
I don't
do you think people our age even look at the laws or policies anymore?
people don't look at the laws and laws. They look at what's going on, like what's going on in the news right now. That's what they look at. What's going on in the news right now and how do they handle it? Period. That's it. If somebody says, oh, he's like this and he does A, B, C, and D, oh yeah, let's jump on that. It's like the telephone game. You say something and say something and he say something and he say something.
Yeah.
At the end of it, it's something totally different. But
Yeah.
then you come back around and it's something totally different from what it even started to be. So it's like, come on, man.
It's like, wait a minute, half the words that I started off with are gone from
exactly
in the last phone call.
Exactly. So it's more of trying to figure out. I think what people have to do, like I said, they have to research who they voting for. Yeah, you have people who they might be racist, they might be whatever, but now you have three evils. So you can pin the lesser evil, and now everybody's talking about, oh, our vote's supposed to count. How's it gonna count when you don't really know who you're voting for?
Yeah.
Period.
You know what's funny? You say three evils. I feel like no matter who runs, the opposition is always going to look for something. Something they're going to find. It's like, okay, this is what makes them bad. I'll vote for them. So it's like no matter how clean your slate is, they're going to find something. So it's funny to me. It's like it's a game now. It's like not even about policies, right?
Yeah. It's not even about policies. It's about, okay, how can I bring up your dirt? How can I expose you? How can I make you look bad? Period. That's what it is. And then, oh, you said this about this policy, but what have you done to this policy? So it's about that, but then it's not about that. It's about how can I make you look bad as a person?
Yeah.
They're just, I don't even know what's going on. It's just all over the place. It's all over the place as far as politics go. Like you can, like, I love C-SPAN. I love, watching, all types of news and stuff that's not supported by big news.
Okay. Let me say something about that. It's so funny you mentioned C-SPAN. As boring as it may seem, the cool thing about C-SPAN is that it's unedited. You watch it from beginning to end.
Exactly.
There's no sound bites. There's no 5-second sound bites. Oh, did you hear what he said? And then you play the sound bite, and then there's like, well, what's the context to it? Oh, no. Just watch the sound bite as it is. Oh, right. C-SPAN from beginning to end, you see everything.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of people don't understand. Like, I used to be like, why is C-SPAN on TV? Like, nobody watched that. But then once I started researching everything, and a lot of people don't know, like, C-SPAN, that's where most of your laws come from. Like, they're actually doing laws and making things for the country live on TV. Like, who would not want to see that?
Yeah.
Or, like, why not? Why not?
Yeah.
So then you have the independent that nobody really knows. Then now it's like, who is this person? You don't know. You don't know who's the independent person, except Kanye. He's the only independent.
Yeah.
Because his name and who he's with. You know what I'm saying? So nobody's speaking about him. They show little clips of what he's talking about, but are we gonna actually sit down and hear his whole speech of something? I would love to hear what he had to say, just to hear him out. Like, people think that he might be crazy or whatever. I don't care. Like, let me hear for myself. Let me see for myself. That's the thing. You have to see for yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. It's funny because, of course, with these interviews, I'm supposed to be in the middle. I'm not supposed to show opinions. But the one thing I'll say is that I believe that our generation, we're so we're so attached to memes that like memes have become our news source. Like, he said what on this meme? He said what? We put quotes on memes, and then that's like the daily news source for some people our age. So it's like they base their opinions on what's trending, like this meme.
Exactly. And that's a big problem because, yeah, it might be trending, but is it the truth?
Right.
That's the thing. You got to be able to decipher between left and right.
Right.
Right and wrong. But some people just like, they go, and then that's why a lot of people just don't get on social media, because they just run with it, and that's it.
That's good. That's a good analysis of our times.
Right.
So let me ask you, whether it's an election year or not, whether it's just a regular day in a regular year, what topics are important to you? What issues are important to you? To Will?
To me, Mr. Focus is people. I love people. I love kids. I would say one of the things that's changed my life is when I was a student exchange in South America. Education. Why I say that? Because they are on a caste system. Period. So just because me and you darker than the other people, we can't have an education. They literally have to have take tests to actually go to school in South America. So if you have somebody that's not wealthy, or middle class, family, they can't go to school. They have to, like, how you gonna have somebody that's 6 years old going to take a test that they don't have nothing to know about?
Right. Okay.
So it's crazy. And so I took that and ran with it. Like, that's why I love education. That's why I love history. And love just learning. I love reading, because the smartest people in this world, people don't understand it. People are actors. One.
Okay.
Actors, people with mental disorders, and people who love to read.
Okay. Explain. I would love to hear this.
Okay. So actors, the reason why actors are, like, I was in acting school, right?
Okay.
So the reason why I say actors is because, one, they always got to stay on topic. They always got to know what's going on. They always got to know what's going on around them, and always got to read. They read constantly. Regardless if it's a script, regardless of what it is, they have to read. They have to know what's going on. They have to know about this character. They have to know how to be that character. So they constantly reading. They constantly got to think with this. So they constantly going. When I say people with mental disorders, right? You have Einstein. You have painters. You have musicians. You have most of our famous people don't know, have mental disorders. 75% of famous people have mental disorders. Are they going to come out and say it? No, they're not going to say it. But if you look in history and you look at people you like, Beethoven, all these other people, they had mental disorders. And they were smartest people, artistic people in the world.
Yeah.
When I say people who read, then now it goes back to my first thing, is people who read. People who read's always learning. They never stop learning because they constantly reading. So if you start reading, then what happens? You become dumbfounded. You become complacent into what you know already. So if you're not constantly learning and constantly trying to exercise your mind, then yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
Now, number 3.
That was all 3.
That was all 3?
Yeah, it was all 3.
actors, mental illness.
And people who read.
People read it. Okay, sorry. Yeah, and it's a great thing you said that because I feel like you just said, the more we soak in, the better, the more understanding of the world we become. And a lot of people nowadays, they read what they want to read and then leave it at that.
Right.
Oh, it validated my choice, my reason for liking this politician. Okay,
Right.
I'm gonna go sleep now. But I think you're the type of person who just constantly just soaks in information, which I love about you. Mr. Focus.
Yeah.
By the way, I didn't mention in the beginning, Mr. Focus. I've known you as Mr. Focus the entire time I've known you. So we got to touch on that name later on,
Yeah.
towards the end. But I do want to get into something you said. So education.
Okay.
So I got to put you on the spot here, and maybe you don't know all the information yet. Maybe you're still learning about it. What is your opinion on school choice?
On who?
School choice.
School choice?
Yeah.
School choice? I don't really, as far as like what's going on right now, as far as them going to school and with the whole Corona thing. That's what you're asking?
Yeah. Well, I think it has to do with families and students being able to pick which school they go to. Because like where I'm from, we go to school based on the district we're in. So I think I want to say school choice is about like families being able to choose which school in that city you can attend.
I think it should be open, period. I think it should, because if you think about it, right, let's put it like this. How many inner city schools are not top 10? And you look at the outskirts of the schools. If you have a variety of students that's mixed all in, then it will be an equal playing field for all races, period. Now, the black schools, well, the people in the city schools won't be looked down upon, or the other schools will be looked up upon because you have a mix of everybody going to everywhere. I think it should be, they should have 1 year everybody just swap if they can do that.
Interesting.
Why? Because then they'll see what's the difference between their school and the schools that we go to.
And then you're going to assess from there. Like, okay, this is how we fix the school.
There. Exactly.
I didn't think about that. Look at this conversation. I didn't think about that.
So if you swap, right, like you said, you literally see, okay, why they school line like this? Well, they should have the same swap. See how we learn, see how they learn, and see see how everything goes, and go from there. Like, I'm not a big fan of Bessie DeVos. I don't believe she shouldn't even be.
Oh, who is it?
The freaking what's her name? Education person, Bessie DeVos.
Betsy. Okay.
Her,
the boss.
DeVos, whatever her name is, but I don't think she's qualified. My thing is, I think she should teach should have somebody in her inner city school, have her come teach there. Have her just be there for a whole, like, 2-3 years. Go to another school. Just rotate for a whole year. You know what I mean? Rotate through the years. And then go back and become, superintendent or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Because that way you'll see, okay, I was fed the silver spoon, but these kids over here are not getting everything I got. So let's see how that is. Like I said, these flip-flop, you'll get a better understanding of both how education works on all sides.
Very interesting. I learned something. Like I said, I learned something new from you every day, man.
Yeah, like I always try to think outside the box, man.
Yeah.
That's one thing the military taught you is think outside the box, because if you get stuck in that box, you're just only good as the other person that's standing beside you.
Okay, right. So we have education. What's another important issue for you?
Racism. Of course, racism is really important. I took one of my teachers. I sent you the link to that. It's called African Elements. We was talking about the whole
Nick Cannon.
Filipino,
Okay, I
the
think I
Philippines.
thought I thought we were talking about Nick Cannon, the Nick Cannon issue for a second. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about that too.
Okay.
So, me, like I was telling you earlier, like me learning about the Philippines and stuff like that. I knew about the Philippines, but I didn't know about the Philippines. You get what I'm saying? So, me being in this class and while learning about how the Philippines and people of color, they actually consider each other brothers when the war was coming, when war hit, when the United States sent them over there, and it's like, oh man, that's crazy, because they considered the Philippines or the Filipinos pretty much less citizens like we were, but yet they send African Americans over there in the army to actually try to hurt you guys because of racism. But in the end, they came together. It's like super weird, but it was a super like cool story. So then learning all this stuff, like I knew about the Tulsa riots and all that stuff. That's something that's really big to me, and giving back to like people of color and try to build up the communities. That's what I'm working on now. Is something really big. So I can't really tell what it is, but
No
it's
worries,
something
man. We'll
really
do a
big.
follow-up, but we're gonna talk about it during that follow-up.
Yeah, so I'm doing something really big right now. I'm trying to come up with two things. One in the Virgin Islands and one in the United States. So that's why I'm always busy. You try to get me online all the time. I'll be like, no, I gotta go. And so I would say that was really important to me because of what's going on right now. The whole Nick Cannon thing, that's crazy too. I think he came out the right way, but it came out the wrong way. The way he expressed it is the wrong way. That's how it came off. But was he correct? Yes, he was correct. But you also got to know that certain things you can say and can do, but it's all about the way you present yourself.
So maybe if it was written rather than like spoken on a podcast, it could have been thoroughly like worded in a certain way, right?
No, it's not. I won't say that. It was just the delivery. It sounded like he was trying to jab them. Like, okay, A, B, C, D. Oh no, this is the real reason. You know what I mean? This is we. So it's like stop taking a jab. Like stop taking a jab. You keep going back in history. Of course, you can never forget history, but if you're trying to move forward, don't take jabs.
Okay.
Just speak what it is. You know what I mean? And that's what it came down to.
Right. Gotcha. So I'm gonna jump into another topic here, and I think you might have fun with this. Okay. So I see your hat right now. You're from DC. That's a Redskins.
Right. Yes, it's a Redskins.
Okay. Woo, here we go. I think you know what I'm talking about right now.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So cancel culture, going after everything, going from food labels to sports teams mascots, right?
Right.
The Redskins have changed their name after how many years? You're from DC, so what's your opinion?
I think it's stupid. Like, does it really matter? No, it don't matter. I think some Native Americans think it's a pride thing. You know what I mean? Like, I think it should be okay. Why? Because it's like I have family that's I haven't met them, but they're Native American or whatever the case may be. I know who they are, but I never like sit down and talk to them and express to them and see their opinion. But the thing is, I think they try to make it a race thing when it shouldn't be a race thing. I think it should have been like, hey, this been this way because of, X, Y, and Z. But if you look at the true definition of Redskins, you'll see why. Just like you look at the true definition of African American, you'll see the whole difference. It's not what you think it is.
Right. Okay. So,
go ahead.
You mentioned something that that rang true to me in a way because I did some reading and I heard some people say this. They're like some Native Americans. They're like, hey, this is a pride thing. I'm cool with it, right? But then you got some woke people who are like speaking on their behalf. Like they're like saying it's offensive, but they're saying it's offensive in a general statement. Like they're speaking on behalf of everybody in that nation, right? So
Right.
what do we do about that? Like, what do you do about this kind of culture?
Well, I would say you really can't do anything about it because people gonna have their opinions. Everybody entitled to one. Everybody entitled to free speech, what they say, right? But how can they? How can you change someone's opinion? You can educate them and try to, hey, this is what it is. I mean, just like kneeling on the flag, same thing. You can educate people, but until something happens, then that's when, oh, okay, this is what it really means. Everybody, it's not a proactive, it's a reactive thing that the United States is with. And that's what throws everything off. Like, if you're going to be on something and people will show you more than one people, hey, I'm bringing this to the table. This is what it is. Be proactive about it.
Okay.
But if not, then don't wait till all the repercussions. You see how many people are like, Black Lives Matter, all this, da-da-da. Everything is a reactive of something that could have been fixed a long time ago.
Got you. Okay. Now here's another thing I want to bring up. Put you on the spot here. Put you on the spot. Ready?
Yeah.
Do you feel? Okay, not do you feel. How do you feel about the practice of going to certain businesses and say, hey, demand you have this amount of minorities at the store at the front. We demand that you contribute this X amount of your sales to this cause. It's actually happening. I've read an article where I want to say Nulu, the district in Nulu somewhere, but it's like the practice of going to certain stores and saying, hey, we demand this and this. What's your reaction to that?
So you're saying that they go and just say, hey, we need you to sell this to this how many blacks or African Americans or Hispanics or pretty much sales, right?
Yeah, so I gotta look into it more myself, but there was there's an article that came out this past week. BLM had members of BLM, or people people went on behalf of BLM and said, hey, to this Cuban store, they're like, we noticed that you don't have that many I want to say minorities at the storefront, like people at the front of the store, and they said that like we demand you give this amount of sales to this organization, like 83% of your sales had to go to this organization, and if you don't sign this paper, we're going to call you out on social media and say the store is racist, basically.
You can't do that. That's just practice. And you have a right to sell. That's who. Everybody have a target market. You know what I mean? That's basic business. Pretty much. You know what I mean? If you went to business school, you'll understand. Or marketing class or took any type of business, anything. Everybody have a target market. Period. Regardless of it could be white, black, everybody. Some people just say, oh, I target just people of, you know what I mean, the 1%ers. This is what that's what they have a right to do. That's their business. Period. Is it right? Yeah, who's to say it's wrong? Like, some people don't want it. Some people do want it. Like, I would say it's an EO thing. Yes, it's an EO thing. Equal opportunity.
Yeah.
So it should be an equal opportunity all across the board. You should have people that, work all together. Like, that's one thing I love about the military. Everybody's from everywhere. Everywhere, regardless of where you can have all type of races, all type of people from the rurals to the islands, everywhere. So I think that people are still stuck in the mindset of back in the day.
Okay.
Period. So if you take yourself out of that, I need just to have this type of girl in the front so that way we can make sales, then you're gonna look, like you said, you're gonna look like a person that's nah, that's racist. Because a lot of people are like literally still doing that. Oh, just like in movies and stuff. Oh, we need a girl that looks like this, that's skinny, that's da 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 da. That's the character.
Gotcha. It's kind of performative in a way. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so it's all about presentation, I would say.
Okay.
So if you're saying that that's all you have is these type of people that's in your store, that you only want a person to look this way because of sales, then that's a problem. It is. It's a big problem. Is it wrong? Yes, it's wrong that way. Do I think it's wrong? Yeah. I think that every company should have mixed race? Yes, because that way you can learn from everybody. If you're not willing to learn, then why work there? Like, some people want to be isolated and work with certain cultures. Like, that's their prerogative. But if you have a mixed race, a mixed culture of people, then you can learn. I don't think racism will be down even more if you had just that going on in each company.
Right.
Even though they have their quota, they say quota 10% or 2% of people have to be a people of color, whatever. It shouldn't be a quota. It should just be like, hey, we're just gonna have a mixed people. Period.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Just I want to be challenging today, right? So,
yeah,
quota versus like having the ability to do the job, right? So how do you find the balance of, okay, we have to have this amount versus, okay, well, these people over here are qualified. Do you not hire them because they're not, minorities? Like, how do you balance those two things of making sure that, okay, we have minorities, but also we accept the ones who actually qualify for this specific job?
You'll find somebody. You'll find somebody that's of person of color or minority that's qualified for the job. The thing is, are you going to hire them? Period. I believe it's people out there that are qualified, that is qualified. And the thing is, are you going to hire them? And
Okay.
they might not look to what you want. I'm telling you, looks is everything. Like you said, pretty much your 5-10 minutes of you doing the interview is about pretty much your looks. Your first 5, let me rephrase that, back it up. Your first 5 to 10 minutes, your first 5 to 10 seconds that you meet somebody, they already have a perception about you, just about the way you look.
It's funny you say that. Yeah, it's because
who you are. Okay, what job you doing? Those 5 to 10 seconds you meet, from the handshake to introducing yourself, they're gonna be looking at how you look.
It's true. Whether you're in a professional setting like a job interview or first date or meeting somebody for the first time just randomly.
Exactly.
It's about this first.
Exactly.
Yeah. Dude, it's been such a fun time speaking to you. Where can we find you on social media? I don't want to cut you off too soon, but I would love to get to know Mr. Focus. What's your social media? Can we find you? But also, let's jump into who you are before we go.
You can find me like Lily on Instagram. I'm not on Facebook because I don't be on Facebook at all. But mostly Instagram. You can find me at Mr.Focus. That's my name on.
How'd you come up with the name, man? Tell us more about that brand of yours.
So the reason why I came up with it, one day I was just like, man, I gotta focus. And then everybody like, yo, you just focus too much. You just focus on everything you do. Sometimes I'll be on social media, I just disappear because I'm focused on whatever I'm got going on. So some days you will see me like 2-3 days because I'm focused. So sometimes, I don't care who you are in this world, sometimes you have to take a break from whatever you're doing to focus on your mental, your craft, your whatever it is. So focus. And that's how I came up with Mr. Focus, because I not only focus on myself, but I also focus on other people, because I do everything. I'm just like all over the place. You ask who am I? I'm pretty much father, husband, uh, entrepreneur, freaking what did you say? That's my wife. That's my,
I'm sorry.
That was my wife. That was my wife talking.
Just who are you talking to?
So pretty much I do anything from financial information to stocks to helping people financially, period. Like business oriented. So if you need anything like that, I can help you out with, from your credit to stocks to your bank accounts to how to finance companies. I do it all. So I went to school, so I'm in school. I'm still constantly going to school right now. So I'm trying to go for actually my marketing degree right now. So that's another thing I want to leave my belt so I can have that. So this is a lot. I just do a lot.
Are you into cryptocurrency at all?
Again?
Are you into cryptocurrency at all?
Yes, I am. Actually,
okay.
Yes.
I'll be honest with you. People try to tell me that, I'm like, I just couldn't. My mind can absorb it.
So I look regular. So I'm a regular dude. Like I can go out, I can look like money, or I can go out and I look like, yo, I just came out. I mean, like right now, I'm just like whatever. Just throw a shirt on, head, call it a day, because I've been running around. I didn't want to do it. So cryptocurrencies it depends on what you want to get. Everybody getting the Bitcoins, but it's other things out there also. But I'll talk to you offline about that.
Okay, no worries. No worries, man. Oh man.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know about these stuff, but a lot of people do. But
yeah,
what I'll say is try to, like you said, everything you invest in, do your research. Then that's what a lot of people ask me. So that's what somebody was calling me about now, was like when the phone went out, somebody's tried to call me about, hey, they want to know about a company. I guarantee it was. So, and that's most of my phone calls are trying to help people out. Like you don't have to pay for your service, my services or anything like that. I can charge, but I don't.
He's a good dude. He's a good dude, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I got offered a couple of jobs and I just like, no, I just regularly just chill and do what I gotta do.
I feel you, man. My man. Will, thank you so much, sir. It's been such
no problem
speaking to you. I know we speak all the time about anything and everything, but it's cool to have you on camera finally. Like we're like meeting for the first time, face to face.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be sending each other more articles. I know it.
Yeah,
my man.
Actually, I'm gonna see you something right after this.
Okay. Check it
out. And also, if people are veterans or anything like that, I know stuff business wise for them. Also, I do a lot of research. The thing is, when I was in the military, they don't tell you about these services and everything like that. But if you're in or you got out, it still can help you actually start your business without you even have to put money up for it. So it's a good thing.
There you go. My man. It's been such an honor, man. Enjoy the rest of your night. Say hi to your wife for me. Say hi to your kids for me. And I'll talk to you soon on Instagram.
All right, no problems. You have a good night.
You too, sir.